Elder Nelson asks us to think of the privilege the Lord has given us of sustaining his prophet, whose counsel will be untainted, unvarnished, unmotivated by any personal aspiration, and utterly true. How do we really sustain a prophet? Joseph F. Smith explained, "It is an important duty resting upon the saints who sustain the authorities of the church, to do so not only by the lifting of the hand, but in deed and in truth." If the Restoration did anything, it shattered the age-old myth that God had stopped talking to his children. Nothing could be further from the truth. A prophet has stood at the head of God's church in all dispensations from Adam to the present day. Prophets testify of Jesus Christ, of his divinity, and of his earthly mission and ministry. We honor the prophet Joseph Smith as the prophet of this last dispensation, and we honor each man who has succeeded him as president of the church. As members of the Lord's church, we can have confidence and faith as we strive to keep the scriptural injunction to heed the Lord's voice as it comes through the voice of his servants, the prophets. All leaders in the Lord's church are called by proper authority. No prophet, or any other leader in this church, for that matter, has ever called himself or herself. No prophet has ever been elected. The ways of the Lord are different from the ways of man. Man's ways remove people from office or business when they grow old or become disabled. But man's ways are not and never will be the Lord's ways. Our sustaining of prophets is a personal commitment that we will do our utmost to uphold their prophetic priorities. Our sustaining is an oath-like indication that we recognize their calling as a prophet to be legitimate and binding upon us. The living Lord leads his living church. The Lord reveals his will for the church to his prophet. We have the privilege to sustain the prophet, the counselors in the first presidency, and members of the quorum of the 12 apostles, as prophets, seers, and revelators. Think of that. We sustain 15 men as prophets of God. They hold all the priesthood keys that have ever been conferred upon man in this dispensation. The calling of 15 men to the holy apostleship provides great protection for us as members of the church. Why? Because decisions of these leaders must be unanimous. Can you imagine how the Spirit needs to move upon 15 men from various educational and professional backgrounds to bring about unanimity? The apostle with the longest seniority in the office of apostle presides. That system of seniority will usually bring older men to the office of president of the church. It provides continuity, seasoned maturity, experience, and extensive preparation, as guided by the Lord. The church today has been organized by the Lord himself. He has put in place a remarkable system of governance that provides redundancy and backup. That system provides for prophetic leadership even when the inevitable illnesses and incapacities may come with advancing age. Counterbalances and safeguards abound so that no one can ever lead the church astray. Senior leaders are constantly being tutored such that one day they are ready to sit in the highest councils. They learn how to hear the voice of the Lord through the whisperings of the Spirit. The system set up for the council of the first presidency and quorum of the 12 apostles assures us that it will always be in good hands and that, come what may, there is no need to worry. Our Savior Jesus Christ is ever at the helm.